Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Sexton I. It's the Tier 3 British Premium SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Steps, and it's under the command of shootr79 of the Wolf Creek serial arsonists. Let's see how he gets on.
Let's get this show on the road.
Well, first thing I've noticed is he's not wearing any camo. Yeah, it does actually help to dab a bit of camo onto the vehicle, because of course it really will cut down their vision. It does increase to the invisibility of an Arty. Anyway, it's normally it would actually be armed with a 25-pounder main gun, but in actual fact that's what we've got here, a 25-pounder, because it's 87mm in caliber. Oh, 87.64 actually, and it's capable of 280 alpha, 44mm of pen, and also over the virtually the entire range of the map. Now it does have premium rounds as well, which are capable of 180 alpha, but a lot more pen, 92 to 81. Okay, shooter's ready to go. Just selecting a target. The standard reload for this Arty is 10.35 seconds per shot. You can see here he's got 9.96. That looks about right. Okay, didn't get it the first time, but he's going to try again. This is one of only 2 premium SPGs in the game. Wargaming incredibly reluctant to actually put any more in, because of course they are afraid of losing tank players, which I think is quite a bit of cowardice, really. Because although most tank players don't like Arty, the fact of the matter is they'd all have to buy this Arty just to be able to use it, or any premium Artys, and so they're actually missing out on millions and millions in sales. So a bit of a pity that they won't do that. And there's only 2 premium SPGs, which it's kind of daft considering how many premium tanks there are in the game. Literally hundreds. Okay, trying to get a shot there on the Cruiser Mark IV. Rounds out. No, I think he's gone undercover now. He's got closer to that rock, knowing full well that he might get hit. We're 2 down at the moment. Now, the Sexton I was the first 125 Sextons that were actually built. Of course, you know the Sexton was actually made in Canada, in Montreal, and it was actually the replacement for the Bishop, because of course the Bishop did carry a 25-pounder gun, but it wasn't a very good mount, and it wasn't particularly fast as well, which meant that they needed another tank, another self-propelled gun to actually follow the troops and hit the enemy. And of course the Sexton was based on the M4, so, or at least the first hull was actually based on the M3 rather than the M4, but it's the Sexton II that was actually designed based on the M4 hull. Now you can always tell a Sexton I from a Sexton II by the boxes on the back of the vehicle, because the Sexton I doesn't have those boxes and the Sexton II does. I think the best thing about the Sexton I is not just the fire rate, which is pretty fast, it's also the fact that it can be very accurate if you dial in, and it also can hit the enemy really hard and knock them out. Say that extra penetration from the premium rounds also makes a difference. But another good thing about the Sexton is the fact that it can fire over the entire range of the map, and of course it has so many shells you can keep firing the entire battle long and you won't run out. Now, it was actually made in 1943, and similar to the M7 Priest, they were mass manufacturing them, and the Priest, well, that had the 105mm gun, the standard gun that the Americans had for light artillery. Cruiser Mark IV again. We've fired at this guy before, lines up the shot ahead of his path, unfortunately changed his course. Now, you may have seen right at the start of the game that there are a number of bots in the game. Yes, you can see that because they've got colons in front of their name and after. There's very few real players, and unfortunately, the other platoon members of Shooter's platoon, which were Major MTP Cat 6 and James Bones 2019, have already been knocked out. Major MTP was in the T29 and James Bones was in a Valentine. The rest of the players on Shooter's team are all bots, every one of them. On the enemy team though, just looking down their list, they still have a couple of real humans in the Sahariano and their Sexton I. So every time you see one of them, that's a real player. Okay, Cruiser Mark 4, that's a bot. Rounds out. And he wipes him out with this one. He fully dialed in, and that just made it so much more accurate. Even though the Cruiser Mark 4 moved just slightly, still got him. Okay, most of the enemy tanks are on the east side of the battlefield, but there are a few, or at least there's one, the Panzer, the M8A1 rather, who's actually on the west side of the map. But I think he's being stopped from moving any further forward by a Panzer III Aslains J, which is a bot. Okay, he's using the premium rounds now. So that extra penetration means that they can get through the hulls, but I think they would be able to get through with the standard ammo on most of the enemy tanks. 44mm of pen is enough in most cases on these tanks. The BT7, they don't really have 44mm of armor. Oh, premium round takes out the BT7. Remember those premium rounds, they do have 180 alpha, but it's the 92mm of pen that makes all the difference. Okay, the M8A1 is hiding over there. He just came out of the bushes, I think. And the Panzer III Aslains J is firing at him. But of course, both of them are bots. Okay, can we line up a shot ahead of his path? Fires one in. No, wasn't fully dialed in, but he's got the right idea. It's to actually dial in ahead of the track of the target, and you're much more likely to get a pen. Okay. Looks like that's the real human. Just missed him. He's not moving particularly fast. I'm wondering if he's actually got a damaged engine and he can't move any faster. But now we've got no defender on this side of the battlefield, so the enemy might get fairly close. And the other thing about this Arty is it doesn't have a huge view range. It's 300 and, if I remember correctly, 330 meters, I think. Yep, it is 330. Slightly more than some of the tier 5 Artys actually have. Quite a bit more than some of the tier 5s. Okay, he's looking north again because he's worried about those guys. Our guys aren't moving any further north, but the Sahariano has suddenly come into sight again. There he is. But we're not changing direction yet. Okay, the M8A1's in sight, so can we get a shot from that guy? Should be able to. Got the outline. He's letting it fully dial in and changes his mind and looks away. Might have been worth just letting it dial in a bit longer and then having a go. Okay, he's going to dial in fully. No, he changed his mind again. The moment you move the reticule, you are actually blowing it up again. And, of course, that means that you have to go through the process of dialing in all over. That's a kill. That was nicely fully dialed in, and he got the shot. Now, we haven't looked to see what's going on with that Sahariano, and he could be crawling up on us at the moment. Okay, there's the M8A1, and he's sitting on the wrong side of the rock, and that's a direct hit. and a big one, a penetration, 265 hit points of damage. Do it again. Low roll that one. Lands next to him and kills him, but we did get spotted there, and it's the Sahariano who happens to be right in front of us. So he's trying to get a shot at this guy. Well, that was close. That landed right next door to him and tracked him. Now let it fully dial in and give him one. Rounds out. That's a kill. Lovely shot. Now, I think the other one he's worried about is the M8A1. This firing position is actually favoured by a lot of Arty players now, rather than the one that they used to go to, which is only a short distance away. And the reason is it's much more open, but there are trees that you can knock over to provide extra cover. They mucked around with the back of the map because they knew that Arty would actually use the position, as well as tanks for that matter, but it is a much better position for Arty, and so that's why they made necessary adjustments to the latest client to make the position unfavourable for Arty. They've got a D2 there, and that's quite a slow tank. Rounds out. Long flight time for the shell. Now, if you go down this slope, remember you can't come back up again. You have to go around and come up by the other route, because there is this part of the slope which is actually quite steep. And it's designed like that to stop people from trying to reverse and come back up again. Kind of traps them at the bottom. Rounds out. Now, somebody appears to be firing in our general direction. At least I think they are. Or is it the enemy RTs firing at these guys? Well, he's decided to come down. That's the part there where you take that drop there. You are suddenly in a position. And there's the M8A1. Oh my God, he was close. Time for a shotgun. Yep, just like that. Okay, he did take a hit for 114 hit points, but he did get the kill, and now all he's got to deal with is the Sexton I at the other end. And he must change his direction after you hit an enemy like that, because otherwise the Sexton will work out your track and try to lob a shell in your direction. He seems quite happy now. He's moving his reticule about quite a lot there. The M8A1 our team has found him. Now this rock is going to be a bit of a hindrance. He's sitting behind it, but it is a bit of a hindrance to shooting in that general direction. Okay, there's the Sexton. Dialing in from a fairly long way away. It's a 2.4 second flight time for the shell, but he does get a hit with his first shot, and the M8A1, who happens to be a bot, goes in for a death grip, and they both die. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first ace tanker for shootr79 of the Wolf Creek serial arsonists in the Sexton I. Congratulations on breaking your duck. You can tell it's the first ace because you got the scrolls underneath. You only get that the first time. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 7. He got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game, and he got a top gun when he wiped out that M8A1 towards the end of the game. Yes, his win rate was 8,414, which is super unicum and a lot more. I don't think people expect a tank at, or an Arty for that matter, at tier 3 to be quite so effective, but it can be if you let the aim dial in on the target. Let's have a look at team score. And we can see there was only 4 real players on both teams in that game. The highest damage in the game went to, yes, shootr79, 1,364 hit points to him. Second highest damage was actually Bowl Destroyer on the enemy team in his Sexton I, who got 891. And the third highest damage was a Panzer S Fünfunddreißig. Yes, trying to think of the 35 in German. He got 686 hit points of damage. When it came to kills, yes, he got 6 kills in that game of Top Gun. The next highest score was the other Sexton, who managed 2 kills, and 1 kill went to the Panzer S 35. And yes, you can see his platoon mates in this one, which were Major MTP Cat 6 and James Bones, didn't get any kills, but they did get some hit points off the enemy before they got wiped out. So when it came to base XP, he's the only one to get over 1,000 base. He got 1,003 out of that one. The next highest scorer being the Sexton I on the enemy team with 353, and their Panzer 35, who managed 334. He fired 30 rounds, so yes, he wasn't going to run short of ammo. The only problem is that the premium rounds are so much more effective that you actually, if you do use those right from the start and you get a direct hit, it can be much more beneficial for you. 8 direct hits on the enemy, 6 penetrating shots, and 5 splash. Well, let's see which ones did he penetrate. We can actually go through the list. He didn't penetrate the Sexton I because he didn't kill him. He actually got ram killed, but he did penetrate the Sahariano, and that was the shot right in the side that he aimed. The Cruiser Mark IV, he penetrated that guy, and the Panzer IV D, and the M8A1. That was the one he actually took the hit for, so he could get a nice shotgun. The BT7's another penetrating shot, and the other M8A1 as well. So every other tank that he hit was in fact a penetrating round. Going back to the details, he also got 5 splashes, 1,364 hit points of damage, of which 930 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously, the M81 was much closer because, of course, he was staring him in the face. 1 hit received, that was from the M81, and it did penetrate him. And 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 killed, 188 hit points of spotting assist in that game, or damage assist. I would point out actually as well, I think the round that was fired at him by that M8A1 was a 76mm round as well, because he did take quite a lot of damage from that one shot alone. On a free-to-play account, he actually made a loss of 1,589 credits. That's because he did have consumables actually, or he actually used the food to actually boost his skills. And so, yes, he did suffer a loss. If he hadn't have used the food, or if he pre-purchased it at half price, then obviously that would have been positive. But you can see the ammunition costs were quite high as well, because he was using the premium rounds towards the end of the game. He did pick up 2,407 experience points out of that one as well. So, yes, a tier 3 game with an ace tanker, high caliber, and Top Gun. Who would have believed it? But the Sexton I is one of those arties that doesn't get as much attention as it should, but once it does actually get played, it can be played exceptionally well. Hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.